G'day there guys, this is Markee and welcome back to my first episode of r/EntitledPeople. Now if you're like me and you just hate people in general, I think you're gonna love this one. Coworker thinks she's entitled to my baby. Now I had to run to the store to get formula and decided to bring my 9-week-old into the store with me. It was my first time taking her anywhere other than the doctor, so I was a little nervous. I decided to carry her and keep her covered since I was only getting one thing. I grabbed the formula and made my way to the checkouts when a coworker saw me. I didn't see her, but she came straight over and tried to uncover my baby without even saying anything to me. I put my hand out, stopping her, and asked what she was doing. She told me she wanted to see and hold the baby since I haven't really posted her on social media. I told her that the correct way to do that would be to ask. And even if she did ask, I would have said no, because it is flu and the RSV season, and I don't want people in her face or holding her. She muttered something I didn't understand and walked off, and I walked to the checkouts. A couple of hours after I got home, I was scrolling through Facebook and saw that she made a post about me. It said, "I saw OP at the store today and she shoved me away from her, saying that I cannot hold her baby. I couldn't even look at her baby. Parents need to stop being so selfish with their babies. Sometimes the baby's smile is what a person needs to make it through the day. Stop being selfish." Although I really wanted to respond to her post, I stopped myself. Why do some people think that babies are public property? If my baby's covered up, I don't want people in her face. No one is entitled to my baby but myself and her father. Entitled Grandma doesn't like the picture I painted of her cat. The picture, which is in this Imgur link, you can look it up if you'd like. Keep in mind though, she had paid nothing for this. It was a gift from me. I'm only 17. My grandma asked me to paint a picture of her dead cat. All she had was one reference photo, so I had to do my best with what I had, plus my average skills, plus my low-grade acrylics. That's fine. I didn't want to just paint the reference because the picture was taken at a bad angle. So I made the cat lay on his back, looking a little playful. Then she gets it on Christmas and comments how lovely it is. All was good. But skip to today when I came to visit her. My mum, brother and I sat down with her for coffee. I looked around her living room and didn't see my picture. I thought that was weird because she usually always puts pictures up as soon as she gets them, but I didn't think more about it. 10 minutes passes and she says, "Anyway, the picture you made me is all wrong, so I didn't put it up. It is between the papers there." And sure enough, it was. I asked what was wrong, and she replied, "Well, he would never lay on his back like that. Why didn't you just paint the picture that I sent you?" I didn't know how to react, so I just tried to laugh it off. She kept ranting about how my painting was all wrong for another couple of minutes. When I left, there was nothing I wanted to do more than take the picture and ram my fist through it. If you can't be happy with what you have, then you don't deserve it. And no, I will not be making you anything anymore. Edit. First off, thanks for the silver, and thank you for all your kind comments. They do mean a lot to me. Right now, she has the painting, but I will try to get it back. I will update if I manage. Wow, Granny sounds a bit senile and spoiled. And rude. I wonder if the years are getting to her, the boomer. Nuclear Karen crashes her car, screams abuse, and demands my employer pay for her repairs. So at a previous job several years ago, I had a nuclear level Karen. I'm calling her Mrs. Road Rage. It was a few years back, so this isn't verbatim, but it is as accurate as I remember. And I remember very well because I find yelling scary. I didn't dare post it until now, as she was trying to sue. Oof. So for context, I was working in a museum. It was a bank holiday, the weather was crazy hot, and it was incredibly busy, so lots of the visitors were grumpy. The phone rings, so I pick up and say, "Hello, this is museum reception. How may I help you today?" I have to hold the phone away from my ear because someone's yelling a torrent of abuse down the phone. It's Mrs. Road Rage. "Excuse me, are you alright, ma'am?" "No, I'm frickin' not alright. I just crashed my frickin' car." "Ma'am, are you hurt? Do you need me to call first aider? An ambulance?" Me thinking she has a head injury or something. No wonder the poor woman was shook up. "Where is the freaking reception? I want to speak to your bloody manager." "Where are you, ma'am? So I can give you directions, please? I'm radioing my manager now." Radio's manager. "Control, this is reception. I need immediate assistance with a visitor who has been in a car accident. She says he isn't hurt but urgently wants to speak to my manager. Over." "I'm in the 6-star car park. Where do you think I am?" "Okay, ma'am. Can you see the museum from where you are? Can you walk towards it, please?" I had to continue to give her directions to reception while she screamed abuse at me. Mostly about how it was my employer's fault that she had crashed her car, and how she was going to make us pay for the damage. I managed to calm her down a bit, but she's still pretty agitated. My manager arrives with a full first aid kit. I'm still on the phone, so I hold it at an arm's length and whisper to my manager that she insists she doesn't need a first aider, and she's beyond ticked. Eventually, Mrs. Road Rage storms in, still screaming. I was expecting her to be covered in blood, but she's not. Just her face was purple from yelling like Uncle Vernon from Harry Potter. Then she starts yelling at my manager, who, bless her, is a boss-ass tramp who takes no crap and starts to de-escalate the situation, telling her she'll contact legal. I could understand why she was so shook up. Car accidents are scary, and the huge adrenaline rush makes you act really weird. She did eventually say that she was sorry for yelling at me, after she yelled at my manager. I was prepared to just write it off as a poor, stressed woman having a bad day, but the worst part was her entitled delusion. It was only the back bumper of the car that was damaged when she backed into a bench made from a felled tree on the picnic ground, which only happened because she was angry at the traffic and driving dangerously. We got it on CCTV. She kept calling every other day, asking when we were going to pay for the repairs to her car. Guess who has to pick up the phone? I had to transfer her to my manager every time, and then legal got involved as she was trying to sue. So I had to say none of us were allowed to speak to her, and she had to email legal regarding the case. So then Mrs. Road Rage would yell about how we were stonewalling her, and I would hang up. With hindsight, I was probably far too polite about everything. And our last post is an AITA post that was cross-posted to r/EntitledPeople, which says, AITA for refusing to help my father after he refused to help me years ago? My father was never present in my life, even after various attempts I made to have a real relationship with him. The little time I spent with him as a child, he was very abusive. It took me longer than most to lose my baby fat, and he'd always made snark comments about it. He'd also compare me to every other child he knew, and I'd always not be as good as them. When I was 10, my mother was diagnosed with schizophrenia and depression. Things got really tough. We had to move in with my grandma, who became responsible for the both of us. Money was always tight. Mental illness treatment is very expensive in my country. My grandma tried to contact my father to ask for help with me because it was really tough for me to see my mother in the state that she was in. He always said he couldn't take me in or help with extra money because he had a new family that needs his attention. After a while, he moved to the other side of the country and didn't talk to me for years. Eventually, things got better. The meds started to work, and now you couldn't even tell my mother has any kind of mental illness. However, money was still short for us, especially after my mum got pregnant again, even after the doctors said that was impossible. Abortion is not an option in my country. After I finished high school, I had no hopes of ever going to college because we couldn't afford it, but my mum still made me take my country's equivalent of the SAT. Somehow, I got a 50% scholarship for one of the best schools in the country. The problem was, even with the scholarship, we still couldn't afford, and I couldn't work to pay for it because the school was in the next town and I'd spend literally every time off in traffic. We also don't have college dorms here. At this point, my dad was back in town, so I decided to give it a try and contacted him to see if he could help. He wasn't rich, but he had money and he was always doing stuff with his family, so I figured he would at least have a little to help me. But all he said was, "Can't help you. You know that. Just find a job." And after that, he never tried to contact me again. Right after that, my mum received a very high restitution from the state and literally gave it all to me. I went to college, graduated, got an amazing job, and now I'm paying for my sister's college. Last month, my mum made a Facebook post saying how much she was grateful to have me as her daughter because I was helping with my sister's education. And then out of the blue, my dad decided to contact me and ask me for help with his other daughter's college too. I said I couldn't because I was already paying for my sister's and I was saving to buy an apartment. I also said that maybe she should get a job. It felt really great. But then he started to say I was being a vindictive a-hole. He made a Facebook post about it, and now a lot of people are agreeing with him to the point where I'm reconsidering it. Edit. Wow, this really blew up. I decided to make this edit because it would take me forever to respond to every individual message. First, I want to thank you all for how nice you all were. Also, really, thank you for whoever sent the wards. You didn't need to, this is just a throwaway account. Second, I decided I won't be making a Facebook post to respond to him. A lot of you said I should post my side of the story, but to be honest, I don't think people will care. The ones that are on his side know he was never present and knows my mom was sick. They just think I should help because we're family and nothing will really change their mind. Thirdly, I decided to help his kids. I know, I have no obligation to them. I know that maybe he's lying about his money problems, but it's just hard for me to see a person I'm technically related to in a situation I struggled so much with. But I won't be given them money per se. A very good friend of mine works teaching for a college in my city. It's so far from the best school, but they offer a lot of scholarships, and they're cheaper than most. He said he could get up to 25%. As I said, it's not really the best school, but it's still better than nothing if you need. They could try getting a loan for the other 75% or something. I don't know guys, are they the asshole in this situation? You tell me. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this short episode of r/EntitledPeople. Tell me what you thought of it down in the comments below. I'm keen to hear from you, and I'm keen to keep pronouncing words the proper way. I'm Australian, as a lot of you people know, and my pronunciation for words is different, although I understand when some words are not pronounced the proper way, when I just don't say it correctly. Anyway guys, I'll see you all in the next episode. Bye!